Twistzz is one of the upcoming talents in the scene. Team Liquid player, Liquid are very good in Inferno. So today we're going to be looking at how he locks down the CT side. He normally plays around this pit kind of area, locking down apartments and short deity side. On this first play there, he plays Graveyard. One thing he's very good at is switching up his positioning. So Graveyard here, he plays this really well. You can't be too passive in Graveyard. You need to be taking the fights because the angle is so shallow. You'll see here, he's very aware of all the angles he can push from. That's a ridiculous shot right there. And he's aware of Taka this whole time. Luckily for him, the smoke's up. Not luckily, but it's well planned that the smoke's up. Good timing on the utility usage there to render that apartment's player useless. No one comes up short, so he's very good at peeking out wide, which is what you need to do in Graveyard. So if you just sit there waiting, just kind of being a reactive play, you're not going to get much done there because the angle's so shallow, and anyone coming out that short side of the apartment side's going to actually see you first before you see them. So a position I actually hadn't considered personally playing is this one here where Twistzz is on the opposite side of pit of where you'd expect players to be. And the thing is about this spot, as you can see, it's quite hard to actually spot him here until you swing out a bit wider, and then even if you're back here, the barrel's in the way. You need to kind of get up closer to the barrel, like here, so you can just see his shoulder. The thing is, once you get to here, you're not really going to be concentrating on pit, you're going to be swinging and looking onto sight, which makes this position very viable and very useful. So see here, he's aware of the two spots he can get shot from, and then they're not expecting the peek out, and he's able to get things done, then he's able to swing wide and get the kill onto the player coming out of apartments. Now obviously the problem with this spot is if you get Molotov, you've got to cross all the way across that little opening, but besides that, I think it's actually quite a strong spot, a good spot to mix out, and you see then, it can give you a little bit of an advantage. Like even if he was being held then, as he swung out, they're probably going to be holding the opposite side of the pit. So if he swings out from the other side, that's a little bit of movement, and at high level of play, that slight advantage can be the difference between him winning and losing the gunfight. So on a very high percentage of round, Twistzz actually nades down this whole way at about 1:40. I personally think he could probably use the nade a little better because people don't normally rush apartments like that often. But that's up for you to decide. That's just what he does. So another thing, obviously, a lot of players do is they'll play balcony. Smoke off here. This is good utility usage. He knows the play's coming in, a lot of pressure from CLG. You'll see here, this angle here he's playing isn't the standard one. He gets thieved, that kill, JDM takes it off, but you notice FNS wasn't really looking at him. And it's just, yeah, pretty standard hold, but he can even vary his angle up just playing up there on the balcony. Obviously, he plays back here, which is a little bit more passive. He can catch people maybe checking out sight. But especially with this smoke up here, he would have been able to play a little bit wider. You see he's smoked off from a lot, maybe catch people off and then swing back and forth. I don't know if he plays left or right hand. It might be a little bit easier to see if he plays left-handed. But yeah, he ends up falling back to here. That's a good decision. Now, one thing I think I show in one of the clips I'll probably show up next is he actually ends up becoming quite responsible for the arch side and wrap onto A. So often the way JDM likes to play this arch side is you'll have his AWP, and if he gets picked off here, a lot of AWPers you'll see fall back to here, which is my preferred variation on how to move. I think device plays it like that. JDM often ends up falling back into here. I'm not sure if I really like this. Maybe Liquid are more concentrated on the wrap. They don't want the B to get wrapped onto. So hold this angle. So obviously he's often going to get smoked off sometimes. So Twistzz often ends up having the responsibility of locking down this wrap side as well as whatever's going on here, which can be quite a hard job. But one thing he's very good at is he's very good at positioning himself at angles where he can do that if necessary. You'll see with this balcony angle, he can obviously easily fall off here, play this kind of angle and try and lock down this side, while also being quite hard to shoot. Obviously he's got to worry about this, but normally he has a teammate on site, so he'll swing out there, watch this, and his teammate on site will come play an angle in here, watching anyone pushing up short. Another thing you'll like to do, and this is often if JDM does fall this way or someone falls this way and they want to fall back, so you're often responsible for flashing people back into peeking arch. This is very important. Usually this flash is a pretty good one, pretty standard, easy one to throw. Team will peek back out. If they see anyone or don't see anyone, it's a lot of information to Liquid as to where the T side is probably going, if they are wrapping onto A, wrapping onto B, or what kind of map control they actually have. That's exactly what you're seeing here, as I was talking about before. You see Nitro is off the A side, we've only got the two players here. Obviously stands here watching short, but you'll see here from this positioning, he's able to peek up. He's aware of anyone maybe pushing wide. He's able to pick up FNS, he can just get that kill, but you see, he's swinging out with the information necessary. And he's in this positioning here, where he's able to watch both angles until Nitro does come in with a flank. So he's sure no one's coming arch, then he's swinging out quite well, and trying to lock down short with stand from pit. Now obviously this setup doesn't necessarily have to be a stand in the pit area, but yeah, on site, like I said, would also work out. But just these two-man crossfires, he puts himself in positions where when his teammate does fall off that arch positioning, he's able to just, not let the T side just have a free run onto side. He's able to reposition and fight them when necessary. So this setup here is something you could maybe throw in every now and then. Definitely not something we'll do all the time because it's quite a weird angle from Twistzz. But you see here, Nitro's checking out balcony, and Twistzz has got this short side on lockdown from a really weird angle. So if we play this out, this smoke comes in, and you'll see he completely catches Tark off guard just because of how big of an off angle this is. You see, he just keeps playing here. He adjusts his angle slightly, tries to be unpredictable, and manages to pick up Fallen playing on the side. And you see this two-man setup again between Nitro and Twistzz is actually pretty good. It works out quite well. You'll see here good double peek with them. Maybe not necessary, but they just want to get the round done, I guess. But yeah, good double peek, good communication between the two players, and definitely something to chuck in every now and then because as you saw with that first goal on Taco's not expecting anyone to be even close there. This round here is a little bit more aggression. You'll see good flash over for Nitro. Nitro gets a pick, tags for down to 1 HP. But you see here, another thing, after they do this aggressive pick, Twistzz is smoking off that way and he's making sure that Nitro can get out safely. Once they're repositioned, I mean, it's a pretty decent play going down to 1 HP. You see this kind of aggression that Liquid often go into. So another aggressive thing they do here is this boost over middle. An important thing to note is this molly from Stan. He's re-smoking that balcony there so he can't get pushed over. Then they do the boost, they can do this quite safely and get the pick off. If that Molotov wasn't in there, Cutler probably could have pushed in and punished them quite badly. So that's just an important little thing to note, is using this utility to get this pick here, and that's the other aggressive thing they do, is they do that flash over second mid, and then this boost over smoke into the middle to try and get the pick. What I notice here is the utility usage. He often uses utility on timings when players are going to do things. You see he smokes it off here as JDM is looking for a pick. So normally he either smokes it off when something's happening with his teammate, so he wants to reposition, or he just smokes it off when the T side applies some pressure, uses some utility. So see here they lose a man, they decide they need some information as to how much of this mid control they actually have. They luckily avoid this flashbang, wouldn't have mattered anyway, and then they catch the players off guard. Him and Stan pushing in, and as this is happening, Nitro is just going all out aggression in middle. You see they end up pushing the T side back. The one problem with this is you see Cajun B is actually there, he didn't get picked off. Cajun B was here a little bit earlier, he could have been posted on one of these two angles. Made this push a lot more difficult. I'm able to have seen one flashbang in, just for this angle here. I'm happy to peek out into Boiler, because normally the AWPer isn't in there that often, he's more likely to be middle. But even just one simple flash like that, even if it just forces him to turn away, you've got your M4s, it gives you the angle and you're less likely to get picked off like that. But again, that's just my personal preference. I think what they did was definitely fine, and this re-aggression is something a lot of lower teams seem to struggle with, because they don't know when to do this. They'll get pushed off, and then they just let the T side have their way. They let them set up happy as they like, set up all their nades, all their smokes, execute comes in, you're struggling to hold the site down with no information and no rotates in from your teammates. So yeah, this pit position, not the most complex position to play, definitely requires good movement and good communication from your teammates as to know where to peek and when to throw your utility to allow space for your teammates or even yourself. But yeah, Twistzz does this very well, and yeah, it's one of the reasons Liquid is so good on this Inferno map. I think they're probably one of the best teams in the world at the moment. That's it for Twistzz on Inferno. Make sure to check out my Twitter in the description below, subscribe if you're not, and I'll see you guys in the next one.